What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Anthony Joshua. He said in the Mirror today that he would love to fight Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, of course, and it would be a massive, massive upset if he doesn't, or regret rather, if he doesn't fight these two guys. Now, he went on to say something very interesting. He says, if the fights happen, then I would be able to finish boxing with a smile on my face. He said, I'd be happy to fight Wilder, Fury, Luis Ortiz. Then I've done Vladimir Klitschko, Povetkin, Joseph Parker, and can add Miller and Fury to that. He said he wanted to fight me for so long, Joshua continued, referring to Deontay Wilder. So now, unless he does, I'm not going to be looking at it as a PR campaign to build his name off my back. If you're a representative of Pepsi and I'm a representative of Coke, and I'm going to say something negative about Pepsi to boost my profile, and that's what he does, I think he will fight me next because I'm hearing Ortiz turn down our offer because he has something in the pipeline to fight Wilder. I'm an honest guy. If I didn't want to fight Wilder, then I would say I'm not ready for Wilder yet. And that is that of his phrases and comments. Now, to break this down, he said, Anthony Joshua, if you notice something about him, he says a lot of sly stuff. But it's nonchalant, but it's kind of slick at the time. You got to catch it. You got to actually be bright because he doesn't come off to insult you like a blatant insult. But what he does say, it's sly, it's slick. You know what I mean? He's slick capping, but he makes a lot of sense. You know, a lot of things he says is cut and dry. A lot of things he says is basically true. You know, what he said in this was he's been waiting a long time to fight me, you know. So that should tell you now he's changing tune, as we all know. We all know now he's saying have patience. You know, that has to come from a higher source. We know that. And he gave a good parable. If he worked for Pepsi, or a representative of Pepsi, and then Joshua worked for Coke, he's going to say everything bad about Coke just to make himself look good because he doesn't want Coke to outshine Pepsi. And that's what I'm telling everyone. Deontay Wilder, he wants that popularity. He's getting popularity. He's getting certain levels of popularity. Now, as far as like the endorsements and stuff like that goes, if he really wanted that, because this is what this is about. This is not really about fighting. This is about popularity and star power and notoriety and things of that nature. You know, something that puts him, it's about exposure, basically, people. And if Deontay really wants that, he should do what he says he has a passion for, which is acting, because acting will get you that. It will get you that to a certain platform, and you don't have to get up and work hard and complain about things that you didn't do for a long time and you're starting to do and complain about it. You don't have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning running. He didn't run anyway. You don't have to get up and beat yourself up or beat your body up and whip it into shape, okay? Not being an actor. You can just work out for 3 or 4 weeks. As long as you got the physique, you don't actually physically have to be there. I mean, some of the things is physical, depends on what he's doing. More than likely, he'll be fighting in some boxing movie or whatever. You know, I hear Creed 3 is trying to scout him. So that could be a positive outlook for him. But as far as fighting, Joshua, we hear it's close. We talk about its progression, you know, and Joshua is basically, he's really starting to get it. He's starting to get like, well, maybe this guy don't want to fight me. Maybe he's just wanting to use me to raise his profile because I'm already there. And it makes sense. It makes total perfect sense. If Joshua is where Deontay wants to be, right? On a world spectrum, not just in the U.S., See, Deontay is known from the U.S. and in the U.K. because a potential fight is brewing between him and the champion of the world that lives and that's from the UK, right? And he's really not famous, so to speak. He's more getting like infamous because British fans, they see right through things. You know, over here in America, a lot of Americans are, some of them, they don't speak with their own mind. They follow instead of lead. Instead of just thinking rationally, they'll go with what they heard and believe what they heard versus hearing both sides and making a decision for themselves. You know, now, as far as Joshua, he heard the rumors, the stories. And like I told people, if Deontay Wilder fights Luis Ortiz in September, we know all this was a crock. All the awards and all the things, you know, the viral knockout, sure, that's what he's supposed to do anyway. But we know all the Joshua talk was just for notoriety, just for exposure, just for him to help build his profile so he can ask for bigger money. The people that run him, that manage him, that own him, know this. They know, no, we don't want to fight Anthony Joshua now. We want it to build. And this is how I look at it. Let's put in Joshua's 29 years old. Deontay Wilder's 33. Tyson Fury's what, 30? Okay. Well, I think Tyson Fury's 30. I'm not sure. I think he's 30 years old. But I know for a fact that Deontay Wilder's 33 years of age. And they are exactly 4 years apart. Right? Because they're both Libras, because their both birthday is both in October, like mine. Because I'm a Libra. So you have 4 years on top of, you got a guy that's 4 years older, has 42 fights, right? And he gets injured a lot. He's not the biggest draw. He doesn't make the money that he could have made if he was managed right, in my opinion. And that's damn near a fact. Because, you know, a lot of times he started with Golden Boy. Excuse me. And he decided to go with PBC with Al Heyman. And he gets injured a lot. So he's had all types of injuries in his career for fighting people that we never heard of. And you wonder why he is where he's at in the sport, because of the people that manage him. So you have him versus a guy that's 4 years younger, half the fights, has done 3 times as much as you have done. He has the exposure, the notoriety, so Joshua doesn't need to want something that he already has. You know, it's like a rich man wanting money. Have you ever noticed about broke people? They're always talking about money. Whereas rich people don't really talk about money. They talk about the things they do with the money that they already have. And if you're already there, you don't have to talk about how popular you are either. So those are one of the things that Deontay Wilder craves. He wants those things. But I suggest he goes and becomes an actor after his, you know, because he's still young enough. You know, I mean, he's only 33. You know, he'll be 34 this year, you know. And he's starting to make more money, if you notice, than he's had in his whole career. Because remember, the Luis Ortiz fight was only 2.5, and Tyson Fury was only 4 million guaranteed. We don't really know how much he made after that. So, but Joshua's starting to get it. He's starting to understand that these guys may not fight him. But one thing he does know, and people should understand about this whole scenario, Anthony Joshua is 4 years younger. Anthony Joshua is 4 years fresher. Anthony Joshua is a lot fresher, and he's learning more than Deontay Wilder will even be, disciplined to show in the ring. So, not saying Mark Breland didn't show Deontay Wilder how to fight. Deontay Wilder just fights like he wants to. So I think it's not even a question of being trained properly. I think it's a question of his own personality and how he feels about things he's going to do when he gets in the ring. That's why training men that already know or think they can fight versus training women that don't know how to fight at all. Training a woman is much easier than training a guy, because if you're used to, doing this or, fighting like that off your, you know what I mean, with your open hand, slap boxing and all that. Look, no one's going to tell you how to do certain things, and when you get in trouble, you're going to revert back to those type things. I guess it's a man thing, or a guy thing. And that's what Deontay Wilder does. He fights like he wants to. When he gets you hurt, that's when you see the wildness, because that's probably how he fights anyway. If you seen him fight in the street, he would swing wild. He reminds me of an NBA player. You know what I mean? You ever seen those tall guys? They're tall, they're lanky, and they throw those crazy, awkward punches, right? Then you look at them like, dude, you guys are very uncoordinated. But that's what happens, and that's Deontay Wilder. He has that type of structure and habits of fighting and swinging. That's who he looks like or whatnot. But these guys are waiting around. So I don't know about Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is 30, by the way. His birthday's in August. I just looked it up. But I don't know about necessarily Tyson Fury. I think Tyson Fury is satisfied with what Tyson Fury has made in his career with other things outside of boxing, right? Such as the mental illness, and he was able to come back from that. It's just like looking at Danny Jacobs. Danny Jacobs, one of his greatest achievements, on top of getting the IBF belt, or coming back into the sport, was actually learning how to walk again after having cancer in the spine. So those are like moral victories that people understand and you can't overlook and you can't deny, and those things are like life lessons and life triumphs. And that's more like Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury's on a whole different stratosphere mentally than any of the other two guys. Joshua and Wilder just need to fight each other. But Joshua's already there. Deontay Wilder's trying to get there. And he wants the money, and along with the popularity, you can tell. You can tell if you look at the interviews of Deontay Wilder, he is ecstatic. But anyway, to chop this up, these guys, by the time they're waiting around, or Deontay Wilder especially, if he waits around too long, he won't be where he needs to be physically, because he might start losing a step. You know what I'm saying? So he has to be careful on doing the waiting game, because the waiting game can be dangerous, okay, for someone, especially like Anthony Joshua, that's learning more and more. So by the time he finally gets in there with him, Anthony Joshua's been tone on his craft, really got into his prime, and he beats him. It would be unfair, but hey, it's a decision on the backers of Deontay Wilder. They wanted to wait to cash out on him because they really don't care for his career. They just care about making money off of him. And now they're finally making money off of him thanks to Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. But anyway, that's me wrapping it up on, and I'll leave the link below. You guys tell me what you think about Anthony Joshua's his reluctancy to believe that Deontay Wilder wants to fight him. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.